Greetings, all you gallant gamers. My name is Mango Crumble, and welcome back to another Roundtable podcast. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about Peaky Blinders. Another thing, I'm going to talk about my sort of music taste. Spoiler alert: it's mostly just Arctic Monkeys, and I'm going to be talking about Mafia II, which is something I was mentioning in the last podcast. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So first of all, Peaky Blinders. Right, so Peaky Blinders is, well, I'm recommending the show essentially. I don't think I'm going to spoil it. It's basically a sort of historical drama set in it starts in 1919 and sort of later series is set in 1929. So it's basically just set after World War One, and it's about this gang in Birmingham, which is this sort of industrial city in the kind of West Midlands in the UK. And yeah, so it's sort of got a very kind of heightened aesthetic to it. It's sort of a very industrial, very kind of booming looking, and it's very character driven. So it has quite a few kind of interesting characters. The main character is Thomas Shelby. So the sort of main family in it is the Shelbys, who own the Peaky Blinders, who are the gang. And Tommy Shelby is sort of he's very cold and calculated and very good under pressure. But he does have a darker side and a kind of brighter side to it, in that he sometimes unleashed some of his kind of wild side sometimes, but he's usually quite reserved and collected, and he's sort of the leader of the Peaky Blinders. Arthur Shelby is the brother. He's the older brother of Tommy. He's a bit older than him, and he's a lot more kind of a loose cannon. He's very instinctive and not really thinking as much, and very violent. And most of the characters fought in the First World War, so they kind of have a bit of kind of PTSD and trauma and kind of education from what they learnt in the military and stuff. Because Tommy was a tunneler in World War One, and he basically tunneled underground through into the German trenches, and that must have been terrifying. And I think it's because he had to be under pressure for so long, he sort of understood and kind of knew how to stay calm for a long time and be cool under pressure, which I think is quite an interesting thing. I was talking about Arthur. Now Arthur, he said he's a loose cannon and stuff, and he's also a bit kind of, he does stuff and he doesn't think about it, and he kind of always gets the gang into trouble. So that's, even though he's his older brother, Tommy's sort of his superior, even though he's younger, because he's just a bit more kind of a bit brighter than Arthur is. John is not the youngest brother. That's Finn. But John is the second youngest. He is essentially the comic kind of relief of the series, and yeah, he just kind of likes to have a laugh, and he's quite a funny character. He's probably my favourite in the series. He doesn't really take any shit from anyone, but he's a laugh. He's kind of sort of a fun character to be around in the show, and he's kind of, when all the serious stuff is going on, it's kind of nice to be around John. Polly. Now, Polly is the aunt of Tommy, who's Thomas Shelby, the leader of the gang. She is sort of the she's on the sort of similar plane to Tommy. Although Tommy's sort of the leader, she's kind of second in command. She's very intelligent as well, and much good as under pressure. She's very kind of wise compared to Tommy and stuff, so she kind of understands how the world works, and she's a very kind of powerful woman and stuff. As the antagonist, it's Inspector Campbell, who is sort of the he's very kind of stern and cold, and he is a police person, but he doesn't really care how he treats and affects people, and he's very egotistical and a bit narcissistic, so he's not a very nice person, and all he wants to do the reason why he wants to sort out Birmingham I think it's just to become more popular and, to get around and stuff. So yeah, that's some of the characters in Peaky Blinders. Obviously, it's a great show. It's on Netflix. I highly recommend it. Yeah, I think it's got about 5 series now, and things do change. I mean, Inspector Campbell's not the antagonist throughout the whole show, but yeah, it's a good show, and I highly recommend it. Just watch Peaky Blinders. It's awesome. Just do it. Alright, now I'm going to talk about my sort of music taste. Well, very specifically, recently I've been kind of getting into Arctic Monkeys, which is this. It's a band. It's been around for quite a while. It's been around since like 2000. I mean, it's technically been around since 2002, but it's only really got big until 2005. So around the time when I was born, essentially. Yeah, I think I was a bit late on that because I already heard a lot of Arctic Monkeys before, like a few years ago, but I don't know, something just struck with me. Something about it struck with me that I don't think... There's something catchy and just like, it just works so well with me, Arctic Monkeys does. I don't know why. Yeah, I think... I don't know. Out of my favourite albums from them, it's probably going to be... Probably Whatever People Say I'm Not, but I like all the other ones are good, really. I think Suck It in the Sea is kind of hit or miss. Like, some of the songs are just kind of meh, but the rest of the whole band, like, I just like all of the songs on it. Like, I don't think there's a single Arctic Monkeys song, which I actually hate. Maybe except Brick by Brick, but yeah. I think my favourite song by them is probably... it's probably Certain Romance. On the first album. Although I do like... Cornerstone is one of my favourites. And... Mardy Bum was my Mardy Bum was probably my first favourite one. It's been my probably favourite for a while, but I've kind of grown to like Certain Romance more. I think I heard them first. I think I was watching In-Betweeners, and I wasn't actually watching it, but I heard like someone else watching In-Betweeners, and I heard Fluorescent Adolescent playing, and that's probably the first time I had Arctic Monkeys. But yeah, obviously AM's probably the first one I properly listened to, because everyone has. It's their most famous album. But yeah, Arctic Monkeys is just such a good band. I don't think there's anything... I don't know why. It just struck so... it just works so well with me. And it's not just Arctic Monkeys, like Last Shadow Puppets, which is also the main guy, Alex Turner. That's his sort of second supergroup band. That just works so well with me as well. I think it's just Alex Turner is just such a good songwriter and mind, and like he just works so well. Like, I don't know, it just yeah. And I think the thing with the Last Shadow Puppets is that they're more kind of cinematic. The music's kind of sounds like almost like old Bond films, like old westerns and stuff. Like, there's something kind of cool about that. Whereas with the Arctic Monkeys, it's kind of continuously evolving, like going from Whatever People Say I'm Not, which is sort of very fast, and it got heavier and heavier and heavier, and then you get to AM, which is kind of like the pinnacle, and then you get to this one, which is the Tranquility Base, which is the newest one. Actually, that's the song playing right now, if you didn't know. That's 1 Point Perspectives playing right now. But yeah, Arctic Monkeys, probably my favourite band. Probably next to Radiohead. Radiohead's probably my second favourite. Now, let's get on to Mafia II. Okay, so I've just started the game literally just after the Definitive Edition. I will be going to spoilers for Definitive Edition, so if you don't want to be spoiled for Mafia Definitive, I can't say anything. Mafia Definitive Edition, you have been warned. You don't want to get spoiled for it. So at the end of Mafia Definitive Edition, Sam, your sort of mate, who's also Paulie's mate, he kind of betrays you and says, like, okay, so you do this job with Paulie, and it's like a bank heist, and he didn't want that to happen because he wasn't endorsed by the Don, and he was actually being quite mysterious to the Don because he was just like chatting with him by himself, so that was sort of a red flag. And then Tommy finds Paulie dead in his apartment and is like, what? So he calls up Sam, and then he goes to this place that Sam said, like, you have to get to this place. And then turns out the whole gang are after him, the whole mob. And he basically has to fend himself off from the whole bloody mob trying to kill him because he sort of betrayed the Don with doing this heist that wasn't kind of what they wanted. And also he keeps betraying what the stuff he's been saying, so he saves people all the time. But I've said a lot of this stuff on the last podcast. So Tommy and Vito. Vito's a new character in Mafia 2. Tommy is a little bit more reserved and kind of uncomfortable with like killing and stuff, whereas Vito's a lot more confident and harsher and sort of, he doesn't take shit from anyone. Vito is a very kind of strong character. He's been in the world, like World War II. He's dealt with a lot of killing before, and he's not afraid to, work for a rough job. And it feels more natural for him to choose doing the mafia stuff instead of it just kind of. He's mostly just doing all the crime stuff, mostly just to fend for his family and stuff. Like, he's not doing it for essentially like as for kind of revenge as it was with Tommy, but Vito's more kind of does it for his family, and he does it because he didn't really find any other job interesting to him. So yeah, I think, Vito's a lot more kind of confident and okay with the morally grey, essentially. But yeah, there's Mafia 3 after that. And also, I have got The Last of Us 2 on PS4, which is going to be very exciting to play. I might actually record that somehow, because I've got a Elgato thing. So you might actually see some Last of Us 2 gameplay, maybe. Or Mafia 3, or Mafia 2 in the future. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. What else do I have to say? If you like the video, you can like it. I guess if you dislike the video, you can dislike the video, but why would you do that? If you enjoy my content and streams and stuff, you can subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video /stream. Goodbye.